Akunzele is improving livelihoods through clean water, education, and economic opportunities for women. From Akache in the Volta region, Senior Gwamita is transforming communities through schools, clean water, healthcare access, and youth empowerment. And for the Corporate Partner Award from the Cape Coast Youth Development Association is empowering thousands of young people through education, skills training, and community development. These are not just finalists. These are change makers. They are nation builders. They are Ghana's true heroes. Joy News Impact Makers Awards, celebrating ordinary people making extraordinary impacts. Who takes this home?
The 2026 Joy News Impact Makers Awards is brought to you by Ghana CEO Summit, a decade of leadership impact. Labadi Beach Hotel, Ayuda, Ghana's #1 services app. Bakun, Services Bibri, New Crystal Hospital, growing in good health. Sulas Enterprise.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Business Live. Coming up in this bulletin, as fuel prices set for a mixed adjustment from May 1, we examine the readiness of OMCs and explore the indicative range of reduction consumers should expect at the pumps. We'll be joined by COMAC. All is set for the Joy Business Roundtable discussion to be held tomorrow, 30th April. We shall tell you what you need to know. And later on the Joy Business Van, we'll tell you about Naturaholics, a Ghanaian brand champion in safe anti-bleaching skincare. Details of these and more for you. Please stay. Glad you could make time to join us. I am Pious, Kojo, Backah. Look now at our stories. Fuel prices are set to ease slightly from May 1, 2026, with the National Petroleum Authority announcing lower price floors for petrol and a more significant reduction for diesel in its latest pricing window. More in this report.
In a pricing notice dated April 28, the National Petroleum Authority said the adjustment forms part of its bi-monthly review mechanism covering May 1 to May 15, reflecting shifting global crude prices and exchange rate movements. Under the new rates, petrol has been set at a minimum price of 13 cedis 25 pesos per litre, while diesel stands at 14 cedis 30 pesos per litre. Liquefied petroleum gas is priced at 13 cedis per kilogram, with kerosene and marine gas oil set at 16 cedis 13 pesos and 15 cedis 41 pesos respectively. Compared to the previous pricing window in mid-April, petrol has seen a marginal reduction of 2 pesos, while diesel has dropped significantly by 1 cedi 80 pesos per litre. while it is unclear whether subsidies recently introduced by the government will continue into the new pricing window or be adjusted ahead of the mid-year fiscal review. The NPA continues to remind oil and LPG marketing companies to comply with the new price floor recommendations.
But how ready are the OMCs for these adjustments? Joining us via Zoom is the Chief Executive of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, Dr. Revis Singopong. Thank you very much, sir, for agreeing to speak to us here on Business Live. Petrol and diesel are set to drop while LPG jumps sharply. Walk us through the key drivers. Is this crude, forex, taxes, or what?
Right. Thank you. Your question, I'm going to do your question right away, that we are ready. And we have always been ready to adjust when the need be, whether upwards or downwards. And obviously, this downward movement we see today was envisaged. And if you check the records with Joy and TV3, we said at a plateau or price will come down. It's not taxes; everything remains constant. Government intervention remains stable in it. CD depreciated by about 0.73%. But if you look at the international benchmark prices, that is where we saw crude oil itself decreasing by 12%. That is the Brent. WTI also saw about 15% averagely being decreased. Now, if you take a look at also the petroleum prices itself, that's the petroleum product prices. Even though we saw a decrease even in the LPG, we are seeing an increase now because of the bidding rounds that the NPA is adapting to. You realize that whereas LPG was increasing every year, every window, for the past two windows, the LPG here rather was decreasing. And therefore, we see also diesel at the international level increasing by 14%, whereas petrol by 1%. Is it the same effect that we see here? If we say that petrol is being decreased by 0.1% to 0.51% and diesel by 5% and LPG growing by 7%, yes, because it is a percentage of the entire cake. And first May, you should expect this new announcement to be effected at the pumps.
That's fine. Based on COMAC's collation from members, what's the indicative range in pesos per litre for petrol, diesel, and LPG that Ghanaians should expect from Friday?
Yeah, we respect the market, we respect our members' views, we respect whatever everybody think. But let me also say that the MPA so-called indicative price is not the price itself. It is the price floor. You can argue the fact that, but most of our members would sell at that price. Let it be. As far as you're not below it, it's okay. All that we are saying is that we are selling at a cost price plus margins. So if you look at what our template is, which differs from what MPA gives, we are looking at a minimum of 14.2 for petrol, 15.57 for diesel, and 17.5 for LPG. This is what we know as an effective price, looking at the price floor or the cost price that MP has given, plus the OMC margins and other costs that comes with it.
I'll come to the NPA's price floor directive, but again, LPG will increase, we are told. What's contributing to that?
Yeah, I think in my speech right now, I mentioned that for the past two windows, when LPG was increasing in the global market, in Ghana, LPG was rather decreasing, all right? Because MPA practice of what we call the bidding round. So what was bidded in Ghana to be sold was an old stock, all right? That the price had been set already, so we could not change the price, okay? Now, when it comes to what we have just received in terms of LPG, we have now seen the effect which for me, if you look at the number of drops we've made and now this increase is a bit marginal as to how the global benchmark prices narrative was.
And are you concerned this would have an impact on supply?
No, we are doing the bidding. So the supply is based on bid rounds. So supply security is not an issue as far as LPG is concerned. That's
fine. And talking about the price floor set up by the NPA, did that directly cause the petrol and diesel decline? Did that in any way play any factor?
In what?
I mean, in determining the reduction in prices, as we have been told, will be expected come Friday.
No. It's not no. It didn't play any role. No. Price floor plays no role in reduction. What plays a role in reduction, specifically at international benchmark prices, your currency, which is the depreciation or appreciation factor of it, and your tax and levies, which are constant now. It is the next window that we need to be particular about if still prices are up and the government is still going to intervene like it's intervening now. That's what the discussion is going to be.
Dr. Rivers Singopong, thank you very much for your time. I'm glad you could join us here on Business Live. A while longer the downstream sector, because Managing Director of GOIL PLC, Edward Backah, has assured stakeholders in the aviation industry that there is no shortage of aviation fuel in the country. His comments come in response to growing concerns about potential supply constraints and their impact on flight operations. Speaking to Joy Business on the sidelines of GOIL Safety Week celebration, Mr. Backah said GOIL will explore other areas to further reduce prices of fuel at the pumps in the next window.
Indications we are getting from NPA is that the floor price will come down. There will be a reduction in the prices when it comes to the issue of diesel and then petrol. And in fact, even aviation fuel prices will go down as per the. Remember that what's the name? NPA gives us the floor, and then we then calculate and add our margins. But as a company, what you should expect is that we have a duty to tame the market. We have a duty to ensure that products are cheap. As we speak now, for about 3 windows continuously, we have been selling at floor. And to sell at floor means that just the average of the FOB price and then the taxes that we make. So as a company, we are sacrificing. Remember the last time we spoke, I said that this is the time to give back to the public. And that's exactly what we are doing. For us at GOIL, we will definitely have a reduction of petroleum products. In terms of ATK, which we supply to some of the airlines, currently we have enough ATK to be able to supply to all the volumes that we have in the country are sufficient enough to meet our aviation industry. And for us, all the clients we have, whether it is Passion, whether it is African World or the other international airlines that we do, they should be guaranteed that we'll have products for them at a very reasonable cost.
Away from that, the Bank of Ghana is expected to post a higher loss for last year than it recorded for 2024. And this is based on analysis of monetary measures that took place last year, as well as the larger economy. Details in this report.
Bank of Ghana in 2024 made an operational loss of some 9.4 billion Ghana cedis. However, based on some analysis of some of these monetary actions and intervention taken by the Bank of Ghana, that should mean that it will end last year again with another loss, which could even be higher than what they recorded in 2024. One can talk about measures that it took to try and check inflation for last year. We should also not forget about the same time last year that it issued fresh bonds at a higher rate under its open market operations. This resulted in some serious impact on the numbers of the Bank of Ghana. Again, a strong Ghana city brought some excitement to everyone. But for the Bank of Ghana, it had some serious implications on its numbers. But whatever that will be released this Thursday when it comes to the financials of Bank of Ghana, we understand that its operations have not been affected anyway, or its ability to perform its functions. Even there are strong indications that going forward, this year could be a good one for the central bank.
This is still Business Live. Let's pause for a breather. I'll be right back with the Joy Business Forum.
My name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabadim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email was delivered across to our customers this morning.
Confirm if this is your bank account. 100,100,100.
Thanks for sending your bank card details.
Send the OTP now to avoid cancellation.
EcoBank will never call, email, send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Don't get played. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, please, I'm calling from Customer Experience Center.
Transform your business ideas into success stories with Telecel Business. Choose from a wide range of products and services tailor-made to drive your business. Call 0302-233-4040 or email to business@telecel.com.gh to sign up today. Telecel Business, connecting opportunities, connecting goals, connecting businesses. Telecel, connecting energies.
Hello again, welcome back to Business Live. In a country where skin bleaching continues to affect confidence and health, one Ghanaian doctor is changing the narrative, building a skincare brand rooted in science, self-love, and the belief that healthy skin should never come at a cost of identity. Today on the Joy Business Van, we feature Naturaholics, founded by Dr. Alberta Emisa.
In a world where beauty standards often pressure people to change who they are, one Ghanaian skincare brand is choosing a different path, one rooted in care, confidence, and compassion. Founded in 2019, Naturaholics is redefining skincare by putting safety, self-love, and sustainability at the heart of beauty. We sit down with the founder, Dr. Alberta Emisa, to find out what inspired the creation of this business.
I have always liked skin, working with skin. And it's so sad to always see people bleaching their skin and always using the things that are not right for their skin. So when I had the opportunity, I decided to go into skincare, create something that would nurture the skin, not bleach. You know, a safe, affordable skincare for people to be able to use. That's really the inspiration. I'm that person you find on the skincare aisle in any convenience store where you find the skincare. That's where I am.
For Alberta, this mission is deeply personal. Growing up, she struggled with acne herself, an experience that shaped her understanding of skin confidence and strengthened her resolve to create gentle, effective skincare solutions.
I had breakouts in senior high school, SS1. I had breakouts then, so I think that was when I started paying attention to the things that I would use on my skin. So someone will recommend this, then I would use it. It will work out. Sometimes it won't work out, but I struggled with acne throughout high school and also in the beginning stages of uni. So that's how come.
During her housemanship in medical school, Alberto took an extra step, enrolling in soap making training, where she began translating her medical knowledge and passion for skincare into practical solutions.
So I was scrolling through Instagram one day and I found someone who was teaching soap making, and I found that very intriguing. I was like, oh, so I can actually learn. I like it, but I can actually learn to do it. So I signed up for the course and then I learned how to make soaps. So when I was at Lekma Hospital during my second year of housemanship, I started making the soaps. The course was online, but when I was ready to start, I engaged someone who would come and help with the practical bit, because I was a bit skeptical and scared about doing it on my own. And that's what started the journey. I started with soaps, and then every other thing just started falling into place.
The name Naturaholics was inspired by Alberto's belief that caring for the skin should be intentional and consistent, an almost healthy obsession with nurturing, protecting, and respecting the skin.
When I started, the whole initiative was to, make products that would nourish, nurture the skin. So initially, the name was actually Nature Skin. I tried to trademark that name and they said no, it wouldn't be possible to trademark that name, but I still wanted a name that would embody what we do, which is Nature Skin. So I was just sitting there one day and I'm like, how about Naturaholics? Like someone who is, very much enthusiastic about nurturing the skin, so Naturaholics, like alcoholic Naturaholics, sort of. So I put those two together and I checked. And it worked. So Naturaholics is actually trademarked now.
In Ghana, where skin bleaching remains a widespread challenge, Alberto was determined to be part of the change. She started an anti-bleaching campaign to promote healthy skin. And encourage people to embrace their natural complexion.
I feel a lot of girls are not so happy in their skin, especially, the darker skin tone. They are always looking to lighten or brighten, and I think it comes from a place of a very low self-esteem, okay? And so the message we are trying to put out there is that it's okay to be darker. It's okay to have, this skin that's not so light. You are beautiful in your own skin. So I want to portray that and then, tell the girls out there that it's okay to be dark. It's actually cool to be dark. I'm dark. I'm not light-skinned, and I think it's fine.
In 2020, the brand launched an anti-bleaching campaign, visiting high schools across the country to educate young people on the dangers of skin bleaching and encourage them to embrace the skin they were born with.
We go into schools and we make a donation of sanitary towels, and then we teach them, I think it's important that we start from the basics. So when we go into the schools, we talk to the girls, we remind them to be proud of the melanin-rich skin that they have. And so from there, I think growing up, they won't feel too inferior. They won't feel inferior, not too inferior. They won't feel inferior and have the need to lighten their skin.
For Alberta, Naturaholics is more than skincare. It is a movement.
Occasionally, you come across people who have bleached either with steroids or hydroquinone, and now they've done irreparable damage to the skin. They can't fix it. They can't go back, and they have the money to treat it, but they can't even afford to treat it. At that time, it's already too late. So I'm like, if we can try and prevent it, okay, if we can start from somewhere and try and prevent it, it would be better than trying to, fix or treat it. So that's where the anti-bleaching campaign comes in. We are trying to stop it at the source.
Next time, we'll hear about the impact Alberta is making.
Gone by was the Joy Business Van, but I got to tell you this great event coming up tomorrow. All is set for the Joy Business Roundtable discussion to be held tomorrow. The dialogue will be live on Joy News, Joy 99.7 FM, and across all Joy social media platforms. More in this report.
The program, which will be held on the topic, Mahama at 16 months, do economic narratives match real sector outcomes, will have a panel consisting of Frederick Emisa, technical advisor at the Ministry of Finance, Mark Bidu-Abuaji, the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and economist Professor Agyeman-Rawlings. The rest are Vice President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Joseph Paddy, Partner in Financial Advisory at Deloitte Ghana, Yao Apialate, and the CEO of Delex Finance, Joe Jackson. The Joy Business Roundtable discussion is a strategic policy dialogue to critically examine Ghana's macroeconomic trajectory over the past 16 months and provide a constructive policy-oriented platform to assess the extent to which the economic gains can be more effectively transmitted into tangible improvement within the real and productive sectors of the economy. In particular, the dialogue will focus on identifying practical policy measures and strategic interventions required to ensure that macroeconomic progress translates into sustained growth in agricultural, industry, and services, as well as improved outcomes for businesses and households. The discussions will also be anchored on empirical evidence and will seek to generate actionable insight to strengthen the link between macroeconomic stability and real sector performance. The program will be live on the Joy News channel, Joy FM, and all social media platforms.
Coordinator of the Joy Business Dialogue Series, Isaac Atasenyaku, joins me in studio to talk more about it. Ike, good to see you once again. Yesterday we were on Marketplace and now we are on Business Live. So it is important for you to throw more light on that for us. What are we to expect tomorrow?
Exactly, Pious. Like you mentioned, tomorrow is the day, the much awaited, Joy Business Roundtable discussion on, Ghana's fine economic numbers and as to whether it translates into the real sector or the productive sector. So like I mentioned, Joy Business right now is curating programs to ensure not just to talk, but to shape policy and also to inform our listeners. And so we decided that we'll take a look at, our economic gains so far chalked by President Mahama. In his first 16 months, he's done pretty good job with, some of our economic indicators. Inflation is already easing.
Policy rate coming down.
Exactly. But then again, the concern is that it's not reflecting in lending rates. So this is what we seek to achieve with the dialogue. We want to interrogate why some of these, figures are good on paper, yet we've not seen its corresponding effect in the real sector, in the production sector, in the productive manufacturing sector as well. But not just the talk as to why, but also to shape, some of these policy discussions and also to make, some recommendations. If possible, we have a rep from the Ministry of Finance.
Absolutely.
Frederick Emisa, he's a technical advisor at the Ministry of Finance. He'll be joining us tomorrow, speaking and explaining, some of the numbers on the part of government. Also, we have Joe Jackson, and Kojo, as we call him. Joe Jackson will bring to light or bring the perspective of, players in the industry. You look at the finance. He himself, administers loans. And so he will tell us why there is a gap between the policy rate, lending rate, and reference rate. Yao Apialate, a friend of the brand, he's with Deloitte, partner at Deloitte. Yao is a finance advisory head, and he'll be bringing some perspective behind some of the fiscal policies, and its, corresponding effects to the real sector. Again, Joseph Paddy, Vice President of GUTA, the traders. He'll be speaking for traders. He'll be able to tell us why price of goods and services still remain high, even though, the dollar has, significantly reduced to about 11 thereof, and why it's not reflecting on the market. Again, Professor Agyeman-Rawlings, economist lecturer at the University of Ghana, will be joining us, explaining...
Representing academia, I guess.
Exactly, explaining some of these policies. Then we have Mark Bidu-Abuaji, representing industry, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and he will be with us, Pious.
And I always seem to understand why we embark on such projects like this. Ultimately, after all said and done, what are these experts bringing to the table? What are they going to tell us? What is going to be the take-home message, largely?
like I mentioned, Pious, we don't just, want to talk, but we want to shape policy. And so while we interrogate why there is a gap between fine macroeconomics as against, micro, being down, we'd want to shape discussions on policy. And so we want to use this platform to make some policy recommendations.
And it's tomorrow.
Exactly, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. On all platforms, on radio, on TV, and all social media platforms.
Thank you very much, Ike. And that's our package by way of Business Life. I am Pious Kojo Backah.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabadim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email was delivered across to our customers this morning.
Confirm if this is your bank account. 100,100,100.
Thanks for sending your bank card details.
Send the OTP now to avoid cancellation.
EcoBank will never call, email, send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Don't get played. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, please, I'm calling from Customer Experience Center.
We have a patient here by name Judith who has a brain tumor on admission. And this morning we received a kind donation from Ghana Gold Board to support in Judith's care.
She actually came in extremis. She came critically ill. She has a tumor at the back of the head. And because of the presence of this brain tumor at the back of the head, water wasn't leaving the head satisfactorily. She had had initial surgery where a tube is put in the spaces in the brain that contain the water for it to drain, to reduce the pressure in the head.
For our educational intervention, we have done a couple of school fees payments, both locally and internationally, for needy but brilliant students.
On 27th of January 2026, when I received the call from Gold Board that my check for my MPhil computer engineering admission fee is ready, I thought it was a dream. At that very point, I was in Winneba. I wanted to use flight to get to the Gold Board office within like 5 minutes. I can boldly say, without the support from Gold Board, I would have forfeited my MPhil computer engineering program, and that would have still been a dream for me. Now I'm living it as a reality with the support from Gold Board.
I wouldn't have done my master's at this university if not for Gold Board coming through for me. Gold Board might think of supporting an individual, but actually supporting a whole working institution, because I'm about establishing an organization known as Regal Institute of Economics and Global Governance, an institution that looks into research and economic policies that support advocacy of government policies for the understanding of the Ghanaian youth in making informed decisions. So I'm much grateful for their kind gesture.
I thank the management of Gold Board, in fact, everyone who made this possible. I say God bless you all.
Gold Board, through its special intervention programs, committed a total of 7.8 million Ghana cedis across 73 life-changing support interventions between January 2025 and April 2026, reflecting Gold Board's deep commitment to improving lives, strengthening communities, and supporting national development. Every cedi invested is creating real and lasting change across Ghana.
Amma sits outside her home, washing clothes and watching the sea just few meters away. The waves are close and they keep coming. Her house is less than 30 meters away from the shoreline, and each day the sea moves nearer. Just few weeks ago, the wave struck at night and nearly killed her and her 7-month-old baby.
That time na dem see na so to na me dem baby no she dem nte wo dem na me dem ti sa dem ye gbim prekope na me soli na me peja me ba no me ni me ma mienu na wo dem na ba ko so yi ye flash na ye TV no ka say afọ ba we to me stop we to me you see I say see breeze na ko mama na say na me peja baby no na ye do no ko she ma me fufuro bi dem. When I want and be best see me, yet dear Nasa is a quote now. And they said, I'm never she me, Naskank, I met to Africa.
Amma has lived here for the past 3 years, and in that time, the sea has swallowed the land in front of her home.
Now, Hanu say in your day, but Hanu dear doubts as I sick of him, baby, I didn't see now in an eye assassin. Uncle, I know to me, dear grow or ornament to send a denny year any pressure, no pono. Say do June July mo ye basa but nya ba na enya agro kra e beto nya e beto me body ba ha wo ha want me tina na frama e gina nti na esa na nyina ye hye dem.
Shiabu is one of the hardest hit coastal communities in Accra. Hundreds of homes have been swallowed by the sea. Some families have left, but many cannot afford to go.
We cannot move unless the sea comes before, because we don't have any place and we move. We don't have any place, we will move. You understand? And we don't have any money to go and how do you call it? Go and rent the apartment. But only premises that we have. We are waiting for the Lord.
Along the shore, broken buildings sit along the edge of the sea. Walls are cracked and foundations are exposed. Some homes are already gone.
A buying a mine penny for no muncho money be share before. It's so more bread power and ya happen a bubu. So what do we need to us? We say then be brave, self contained crossing. And ya say na at the defense on by ye. Our beach side no na pressure in na ababeda.
Residents believe the construction of the sea defense at Glapper, about 2 kilometers away, shifted the pressure to Shiabu.
Our buildings and our room is as corrupt. You know, you who the end yet. I'm on the Bobana Beguas, I'm on Twaso Maya. And see, we are telling Ghana that come and do this thing for us. Because yeah, bread.
Reverend Joshua Atto has seen the change, and he says the shoreline has shifted so much that homes that once stood here have disappeared into the sea.
wo be ejole ni wo assembly e bi wo MP e bi wo yo do pa ikomehuni e bi ni amena no ne ano she wona ko no ni pote na fi awo yi wo be ni afia to wo gbemeche wo ye wo be eyan ga san wo yo fa bi aga ga wo ye wo mi to mo wo ga bo yu aga tuni o se ne 22 ni keje 22 no anwe me ne ba gbe nyonyo wo be o mo ga akpo be san lo fe mi ni o bo to yi ni e se tu aga ti mi pt mo fi amo pele aga de ani e ya wo ga afo ga ba shi she go te keji akpo bu be san lo fe mi ni san lo ba shi.
Residents are asking government to extend the sea defense to Shiabu so they can stop the waves from destroying what is left of their community.
Esra ba ni se onu sun brem onu sun twa ne be Shiabu fo dansoma Shiabu na me ka se no mo moaye
won so ma ga ate abaho ko nu na gba safo ko nu wo ya jowo over no nushi abaga yo ga bete wona amedon.
But experts say the sea defense is not the full solution. Professor Akufo-Addo is a coastal processes expert.
Artificial means can never and has never been the solution in fighting the natural system. So sea defense are always not a solution. Basically what we do with sea defense is that we either prevent the ocean from taking sediment away, or we block sediment within the transport part, the sediment transport part. We block and trap sediment so that we build beaches within where erosion is a problem. But in blocking sediment, you are depriving other areas of sediment. So basically what you've done is that you've transferred the problem from one location to the other. And that is why in some areas you realize that in Keta, for instance, sea defense is doing very well, but downdrift erosion has increased. Why? Because the volume of sediment that would have gone to build the beaches and gone to, create a balance in the sediment budget regime are now being blocked and trapped. So the reduced sediment will definitely have an impact. And these are some of the reasons why the downdrift side begin to erode. So to me, sea defense using hard engineering approach has never been a solution. We should now begin to think about managing with nature, and that is nature-based solution.
As the sea advances inland, residents of Shiabu are asking for a chance to stay. But with every wave, that chance is slipping away. Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy News, Shiabu, Accra. Every morning, traditional priest Togbi Akpasu pours libation here, calling on his gods to protect the land he has guarded for more than 30 years. But the land he is praying for is slowly disappearing. The sea that once stayed far from his shrine now moves closer with every strong wave, breaking walls, exposing rocks, and threatening to wash away the very place he believes is sacred.
The first time the sea was far from us, it's not this near like the way it is now. So now we are seeing that the sea is coming. More than a year now. But he used to come and go back. Sometimes, as we, the traditional people or the spiritual people, we need a ceremony to perform for the sea. Sometimes that sea can even go far, will not come to. And then sometimes it will come to.
The changes are no longer small. Parts of the land have already been taken. Walls have collapsed. The ground that once felt solid now breaks apart after every high tide.
It's coming. We all are seeing that the sea is coming. Sometimes we will go far across, sometimes it will come. So we are seeing at the side like that.
For Togbi Akpasu, the sea is something he speaks to. He believes it listens and he believes it can be persuaded to stay away. That is why he continues the rituals, even as part of the shrine begins to collapse.
As we, the traditional people or the spiritual people, we need a ceremony to perform for the sea. Sometimes that sea can even go far, will not come to. And then sometimes you come to. If you pass this corner right now, nearly remove everything, you understand? So as we are in the traditional way, we know how to handle this kind of the situation now. Then we are still with them. It can even cover people, but I will be here.
Around him, residents are trying to protect what is left of their homes the only way they can. Some pile rubbish and broken blocks near the shoreline, hoping the waves will slow down. Others watch as cracks appear in their walls, unsure how long their homes can stand. The traditional priest, Togbi Akpasu, says he has lived here long enough to know the difference between ordinary waves and what is happening now. The distance between the shrine and the sea is shrinking, and he sees it every day.
We all are seeing that the sea is coming. Sometimes you go far across, sometimes it will come. So we are seeing at the side like that. The work of the government now, they only have to help us with those stones, big stones to let the sea go. I don't know you understand what I'm saying. Apart from that one, if they said yes, because this sea is a spirit. And then sometimes if the government wanted to perform some of the spirit, they have to see the traditional people. They perform their own. And then from there, they have power, audacity to help us for the sea to go back.
Experts say the fears in communities like Labadi are real. Studies show that a large part of Ghana's coastline is already eroding, meaning the sea continues to move inland every year.
We may lose our coastline into the dry land about 30 kilometers by 2050 or 2050 by the mid-century. That statistics is available. That is why I'm saying that if we can begin to do something now, then of course we can stand the test of time. But if we fold our arms, then what it means is that when other factors add to the impact of climate change, the sea level rise, then of course the likelihood that we are going to lose our coastal infrastructure is very, very high.
For Togbi, the greatest fear is not losing the land. It is the thought that one day the sea could wash away the shrine and the gods he believes have protected this place for years.
If something like that will happen, I will be the first person to remove from here. Because I hear their voice. When we work with them, we send them to walks, and then we listen to each other. If something like that will happen, I will be the first person who will remove. As soon as I started removing, and then other people will know that there is no chance.
The sea is still moving closer. The walls are still collapsing. And the people who live here say they cannot fight it alone anymore. The question now is how long this land and the shrine that stands on it can survive if nothing is done. Emmanuel Jivanu, Joy News, Labadi. The sea is closing in on one of Ghana's most important historical landmarks, the Christian Castle, also known as the Osu Castle. Every wave eats away the land. The shoreline may soon vanish completely, leaving land and sea merged. The Osu Castle still draws tourists, people eager to connect with its past. 24-year-old Henry Asiboya is visiting the castle for the very first time. He is a lover of fashion. He is not just at the castle to learn, but also to capture its beauty as a backdrop for his pictures.
I've heard about Osu Castle, so I decided to come and see where they used to keep the slaves, then they will later transport them to overseas. So I decided to come and then take a tour, then have a good background for my fashion photos.
Okay.
So that's what brought me here.
What Henry sees today is very different from what others have seen over the years. Just a few meters away from the Osu Castle, 50-year-old Moses Abeka Okai sits by the shore mending his fishing net. He has lived by the sea for decades and remembers when the shoreline was far from the castle.
Castle first year kuse to sibiane show enye ba nale tumo biane e ban show itumo first year bele yo gono ton biane show le te ba nale first ke show fan aton sibiane ke e fon le te e petele no yo ya okote no aishi no utekile dan dan wa nyonye so na bukia o liake te ba nye civile ne ga bia mi no mi pour te ko no me yiwa nwe te wonju le woli.
At the base of the Osu Castle, the warning signs are no longer subtle. The rocks that once held firm are now exposed, some cracking, others being pulled away. The waves are no longer breaking offshore. They now strike directly against the foundation. At my visit in 2023, there was still a visible stretch of sandy beach between the sea and the castle. I could stand and walk in that space without difficulty. 3 years later, that buffer is almost gone.
Sea level rise is projected to increase in the future, and this will have a significant effect on the coastal systems and the shoreline behavior. Our study revealed that out of the total number of tourism facilities at risk in Accra, a third cannot physically withstand the event of sea level rise hazard due to their proximity to the shoreline.
For centuries, the Christobel Castle was the seat of government. From the colonial era through independence and into the Fourth Republic. But in 2013, the presidency moved to the Jubilee House. Coastal scientist Professor Akufo-Addo says advancing coastal erosion played a key role in that decision.
Using the current sea level rise rate and projected future rates, model the impact of coastal erosion on some selected landmark coastal features along Accra's coast. I observed the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, the Independence Square, and the Christianborg Castle will experience erosion and are likely to be lost to the sea in the very near future, looking between from 50 years to 150 years. This study generated several discussions which have influenced, I believe, the relocation of the presidency to the Jubilee House.
Rising sea levels combined with wave energy and human activities along the coast are accelerating the loss of land. And in many places, there is no effective coastal management plan in place. What is happening at Osu Castle is part of a much larger pattern. Across Accra's coastline, critical infrastructure and entire communities are increasingly exposed. National landmarks, economic zones, homes, all sitting on land that is slowly disappearing.
Several areas along the coast, not just Christianborg Castle, but several areas along the coast are vulnerable. And how do we ensure that there is an increased resilience so as to be able to fight or to withstand some of these challenges? And like I said, all hands needs to be on deck. We need to initiate a national discussion on these things. Every facility within the coastal area has a certain level of vulnerability. But how do we ensure that we enhance the resilience of communities, resilience of infrastructure, resilience of assets within the coastal area. So it's all encompassing. But unfortunately, because we don't have a workable management plan for the coastal area, anything is just going on.
I feel so bad about it because when I was coming, I interacted with some people even outside. The environment was lovely, yes, lovely. So I said it will, I'll feel bad about it.
Osu Castle still stands, but the sea is creeping closer, eating away the land it once overlooked. If nothing changes, the loss may not happen suddenly, but bit by bit, until there's nothing left to protect. Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy News, Osu. It's early morning here in Teshi, and a group of men are pulling a wooden canoe from the sea. They hold onto a long rope, leaning back in unison and chanting as they work against the force of the waves. The sea is rough, and every step forward is resisted by the incoming tide. This has always been part of the fishing life here, but the conditions are no longer the same. Fishermen say the sea has become more aggressive and